Hi, this is Barry here, and you're very welcome to today's podcast episode from writecom.com. And today we're going to have a look at 5 ways to get your readers to know, like, and trust you. Now, if we go offline for a moment, I am sure there are some stores or some businesses, and there's some people that you deal with regularly, maybe even on a daily basis, because you know you like and you trust them. You know, you go to certain stores because you know the quality of the goods, is up to scratch. They're not going to be sell you cheaper goods at a higher price. You probably trust the gardener that you hire to do a good job in your home, and maybe a babysitter or something like that. And, you regularly go to these people because, they're going to do a good job. And so it is with online then too as well. Your readers are going to come to you because, they're going to buy from you because they know they like and they trust you. They know that you're going to create a good fiction book. They know that your non-fiction book is going to give them all the information they need. It's going to make a difference in their life. And they're going to buy, your work regularly. If you can, build up this, this trust and this likability between you and them. So how can you do it online? Because if you consider that, maybe some people have been ripped off in the past. Some people are, very cagey and wary of giving their email details, and, they're afraid of identity theft and all those different scams that maybe they have heard about or, come in contact with. And, when online, it's a different story. So, how can you build up that likability and then trust? And that's what we're going to do in this podcast episode. We're going to have a look at 5 ways you can do it. Now, the first way you can do it is to show off your expertise. If I got to the back of your book and I clicked the link to go over to your domain name, if I got there and I only found maybe 2 articles, maybe 2 videos and, maybe 1 podcast episode, I wouldn't think maybe that you would know, that you know too much. For example, maybe in the other case, maybe if I clicked on the link, went over to your blog or your website and I found maybe 200 articles on the particular topic the book was on. If I found out maybe that you had 50 videos over on your YouTube channel, if I found out maybe that you had a podcast episode, suddenly I'm going to look at you in a different way. You and that other author may be competing for the same audience, but when I look at all the content you have over there, I am going to put you on a far different level compared to that other website that has only those 2 articles or those 2 videos. So, you may have said to yourself, well, okay, that's okay for maybe a non-fiction writer. He can write up loads of articles on weight loss or loads of articles on dog training or loads of articles on time management, but I'm a fiction writer. How can I show off my expertise? And I'd say to you that there's no reason why you can't, link over to maybe some particular website where some well-known author has given you a glowing review. Maybe you have written short stories in the past that have ended up on maybe a website like Reader's Digest, or you got some of your content into a magazine. So there's no reason why you can't link out those places and, get a little bit of a halo effect off that. And it'll, by showing that, you write good content, you write good fiction pieces, and, you're trustworthy, that, when they see your next book in the Amazon store, they know that they're going to get a good book from you. They know that your non-fiction book is going to give them the content that they need. And that's one way you can do it, is to show your expertise or show, any awards or anything like that. It's very easy just to link over to something like that on your blog, or, advertise it on your website or whatever, that, you've been recommended by such and such a person, or you have content over here. Whether you have maybe articles over on medium.com or Huffington Post or something like that, but you can show that person that you are an expert on the content that you're creating, or that you know what you're doing. And that's one way to do it, is to build a little trust in that person, is to show your expertise. Another way you could do then too is to survey your readers to get to know them better. When was the last time a fiction author or non-fiction author surveyed you and asked you, your opinion on the book they read? When was the last time you were asked, what should be the next book that I should write? What, if the author asked you, what do you feel was missing from this book? How can I make this book better? Asking you questions like that as a reader makes you, consider for a second that, this author seems to, he seems to want to help me. He seems to want to write a better book. He's interested in what, book I would recommend that he should write next in his fiction course or fiction series or whatever. And, by you asking these questions yourself, not only are you, being open to suggestion from the reader and, how you can make your book better. Maybe, what content that you should have put in, and maybe you could expand on this idea or explain something better, or, maybe they like that character in that first fiction book and, they don't like where you've gone with the series, and maybe you should have branched off and you should have followed that character in a different way. And you're going to find out, you're going to get book ideas. You're going to get ways of, how to make that book better. You're going to find out maybe that something needs to be explained better, and maybe that you need a video course or a training course. And you're going to get all these business ideas. But by asking your readers for suggestions, you show them that you care about their opinion, and that you're trying to make your business better, that you're trying to make your books better, that you're trying to make your books more entertaining, that that you want to give them a better service by asking that. And it's a very simple thing to do. If you have readers on an email list, send out an email, send them over to a website like SurveyMonkey or something like that, where you create a survey, or just put a survey on your blog or your website and just try and collect those responses and then find out what people want. You may find, maybe if you survey your readers, that you find out that maybe the readers that are reading your book are also the same readers that, read Jack Reacher books, or like Lee Child, or whatever topic. So then when it comes to maybe you creating a Facebook ad for your next book promotion, you know what your audience likes, and then you can narrow down that audience for your Facebook ad by putting in the details of Jack Reacher fans or something like that, and you can tailor your book promotion then toward that, because you know all that information, because you've asked those readers, what do they like. And again, as I said, when it comes to writing your next book, if you find the majority of people were more interested in a book series on a particular character rather than the one you were thinking about, it's like shooting fish in a barrel. Straight away, well, that's the book I should be writing and not the other one. And, by asking these questions, you're going to find, like I said, you're going to find ideas then for video courses and like how you make your books better and whatever it is. And again, you're showing the people that you have, you're giving them your ear and you're interested in their whatever problems or whatever suggestions you have. And that's another way to build up likability and trust. Another thing you could do then too is maybe just to create content just solely for them. If you got to the end of a fiction book and you found that the author had written a short story or whatever that was exclusive to the reader, that it couldn't be bought anywhere else, that it was only for readers of this book series. If you found out maybe that, when you got to the end of that weight loss book, that there was a 30-day, email e-course that was set up by the author, where the author was going to send them emails for the next 30 days that was going to reinforce the information they found in the book, that was going to motivate them every day, that was going to give them tips and tricks to put into action the information they read in that book. You can imagine how that that reader is going to look at you in a different way, that you're going to come across as somebody who's wants to give them more, who wants to help them, who wants to, again, like giving away that short story, who wants to entertain them, and who's kind of going above and beyond what other authors are doing. And again, it's just simply by creating content. Now, what you could do is, if you wanted to, you could lock away that content maybe behind an opt-in page, so you could use it then as a way of building an email list, as a way of getting those readers emailed, so you can have a list of those readers then when it comes to your book promotions or whatever it is. Maybe you could set up maybe a Facebook pixel on that page then. Maybe, you're not going down the route of collecting opt-ins, but maybe you just password protect the page. You could have maybe a link at the back of the book and just say, here's the password to get into this page, and here you can go and you can watch the video course, or you can download this free short story. And again, what you could do is you could have the Facebook pixel, installed on that page then. So when it comes to any Facebook promotions, you can tailor your ads towards an audience like the people who have been going to, to that page. And again, like that e-course, like it's very easy to do. It doesn't have to be a 30-day. You could do maybe something simple like a 7-day. Just write, 7 simple short articles and put them into an autoresponder and send it out 7 days in a row after that person has joined the list. And you could create maybe other things like planners, workbooks, infographics, printables, or some stuff that it's where your reader is getting far more than they just got from the purchase of the book. That they have that free printable planner that they can print out, and they can sit down after reading the book and go through it day by day. And then you're showing them that you want them to be successful with that book or whatever it is that you're selling. So there's no reason why you can't create kind of content for that reader that is only exclusive to them. Another thing, by creating maybe content like a short story for a book or something like that, it gives your reader great bragging rights then too, because they know the whole world has never seen this short story. They know that it's only people who has read this book series, that it's only open to them. So it's a bit of a kind of it's exclusive to them, and it warms them to you by showing that you're interested in them and you want to give them more than what you're taking from them in cash. Another thing then too is to get people on an email list. Once you have somebody on an email list, which I always recommend every author should be doing. But when you do have them on an email list, you should be emailing them regularly, at very least once a week, to keep that relationship, warm between you and that reader, because it's very easy for readers to forget about you. If you're reading a fiction book today and then you're going on to a second one and the third one, it's very easy for the reader to forget your name, and you're going to get lost in the whole big, with all the authors that are on the Amazon Kindle store. You need to be coming to them regularly to make them stand out in your mind. So when it comes to whatever niche you're in, they're going to think of you straight away. And it's going to involve you coming to them regularly, creating content for them, whether it's non-fiction, again, like the e-course or something like that. But find some way that can keep in contact with them on a regular basis, because the more you do, the more you're going to keep them fresher in your mind. Like if you think of all the big celebrities from years ago, like Elvis's and Marilyn Monroe's and all that, and they're completely forgotten because the new generations nowadays don't know them, and you're going to find that you might be the biggest thing in the world right now, but if people don't hear about you, if the next generation readers come along, you're just going to fade away into oblivion. And that's why you need to keep your position. You need to, whatever it is, send them articles with tips, maybe a blog post that you've read, that you've written. Maybe if you are a fiction writer, maybe that you've released a short story over in Huffington Post or over in the Reader's Digest, or you're published here or you're published there, just to keep them aware that that you're still out there, and keep them in touch, maybe with, again, like having them an email list, send out the surveys, find what they like, find what they don't like, how can you make the work better, so you're involving them in the whole process, your next book. Because you can imagine if you were a fiction reader and this book was coming out, and you looked at it and you say, yeah, that's that book came about because of the idea that I had sent to that author, that I had said I wanted the book to go that way, and and it makes them feel part of the process, rather than them kind of standing on the sideline and you doing all the work, by involving them in surveys and involving them in your email list. When it comes to maybe book promotions then later on, with your street team or something like that, you're building a community where everybody feels part of the whole process of the writing and the promoting and whatever it is. And, that's going to build a likability. It's going to build a trust that you respect them, and that you're working together and you see them as helping you out. And that's one way you can do it. Another thing then too is to get social on social media. For a lot of people, maybe they feel that social media is something maybe that's not going to make them sales, that's maybe they have done it in the past and it's not working for them. Maybe it seems much of a chore because it's distracting from your writing, because you have to go over and do content for Facebook, and maybe content for Twitter and content for this and that, and it's taking you away from what you should be concentrating on, which maybe is your fiction writing or your non-fiction writing, or whatever it is. But what I'd say to you is, you should be posting up some content on your social platforms. Not just the kind of formal stuff or things to do with writing or whatever it is. Let your audience kind of see behind the curtain of what you are like as a person. What's your day-to-day life like as an author? What do you like? What are you a fan of? Pictures of you maybe going to the cinema or going to concerts or something like that. So they're building that kind of a more picture of you. Like, when you get to a blog and I read a couple of articles, for example, if you go to the WriteCom blog right now and you read a couple of articles, you don't get as much a flavour of me as, for example, maybe if you read an article and then you listen to a podcast episode. So now I am kind of, I'm hitting two parts of your brain. You have the reading part and you have the kind of listening part, and it's building a kind of more of a picture of me. But say, for example, if maybe I directed you over to a YouTube channel and you're watching me maybe speaking to camera, you not only then have you the text and you have the audio, but you have the visual then too. So, even though we may never meet, you listen to this podcast may feel like, I'm sitting across from you at a coffee shop or having a conversation. You posting content on your Instagram account of, your holiday and, the different things you're doing and all the sites that you're seeing. By me seeing those videos on that Instagram account, it makes me feel almost that I've been on holiday with you when you come back from work and you start writing again. And, it opens up another part of you that, that I didn't know about. So, when it comes to, you're not just the author of such and such a book, you're the author that's a big fan of Iron Maiden, that's gone on holidays over to here, or that's done this and done that. And because of that, I'm building a bigger picture of you in my mind, and you're not this two-dimensional kind of online character anymore. You're the three-dimensional character that loves dogs, that loves walking out in the countryside, who, does hand gliding or parachute jumping or something like that. And it's that, it's all those wee small things that separate you from all the other authors in your genre. Maybe all the other authors that I'm reading that I don't know much about, but when it comes to, for example, maybe the thriller writer, and you're a thriller writer, and I see all these videos you on Instagram and YouTube, and you're doing this and you're doing that, you know, it makes you stand out head and shoulders above everybody else. So like, you don't have to feel like you need to post content on a regular basis, or that it has to be all kind of, you know, stiff upper lipped and business-like and stuff like that. You know, even just letting your hair down and, you know, showing what you're doing. Like, for example, if I maybe could record a video now where I am just doing this podcast episode or something, you know, it'll give you another view of how this podcast is put together. It'll give you another view in what I do to put these podcasts together, or whatever it is. It opens you up to another part of the writing process and me that you might have never seen before. And it's very easy to do all those things. You know, if you put those 5 things into place, you are going to separate yourself out from all the others. And you're going to build that likability and that trust. You know, the more people are listening to you on podcasts and reading the great information that you're posting on your blog, and, you know, all the places that you're being, you know, all your expertise is shown all over the places, it can't help but build likability, you know, people getting to know you, and then people getting to trust you that you're going to deliver on the content that you're going to give them. You know, that next fiction book is going to be amazing, that non-fiction book is going to help me lose 10 pounds or whatever it is. And there's no reason why you can't put those things into place. So I hope you enjoyed this podcast episode. If you did, I would really appreciate it if you could maybe share this with one other person, or just tell somebody what you learned, and, you know, put all this into action, because it's very, very easy to do. So as always, I have a wonderful free report over here on the WriteCome site. If you just come over to writecome.com, you can pick up the great free report, which is Words, Wisdom and Winning. So in this book, I am going to show, or this digital report, I'm going to show you how to grow your audience, how to sell more books, and how to get more book reviews. And again, it's totally free, so there's no reason why you shouldn't pop over and pick up a copy. So as always, thanks for sharing your time with me again, and take care and have a great day. Bye bye.